Anyway, what happened? Well, we are recording on Remembrance Day, and so on a hockey night in Canada, I believe we had Don Cherry going off. I guess he does a yearly Remembrance Day segment to honor the troops and such, which is all fine and dandy. But Don Cherry, who is a hockey analyst, I guess you would call him, commentator.
He's a hockey pundit.
Pundit, yes. So he's got a little segment on Hockey Night in Canada, which is huge here in Canada, right? So,
and is on Sportsnet now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's been around forever. The guy is like old as dirt. He's no stranger to controversy. Would you say that? Would it be fair to say that?
Yeah. It would be fair to say that any time he gets a half-formed thought in his brain, he feels the need to share it with the world. I guess because there's nothing worse than dead air.
So he's like everybody's like racist grandfather, essentially. He just can't not help himself, and of course he's done.
Yeah. Everyone's if you're like a white person and you have a racist white guy as your
yes.
grandfather, he's that.
He's that guy, and so he went off. He does this Remembrance Day segment. It's usually a very nice piece. But that's not the controversy. The controversy is that I guess he's not seeing enough
poppies
on people's lapels. And I guess he singled out immigrant Canadians for not buying the poppies, I guess, or whatever, right? And he's calling them they, and they should be grateful, and then singling them out and putting them in not a very nice light. And so there's been a tremendous amount of backlash right now. And I just want to know what your thoughts on this are.
Well, I'm sure Don Cherry didn't look at any actual figures or studies before spouting his mouth off on who is and isn't buying poppies. A lot of, second, third, fourth generation Euro Canadians, based on my anecdotal evidence, aren't buying poppies. It's weird for Don Cherry to single out this one particular, or to single out a marginalized out group.
But anyway, we just wanted to highlight that Don Cherry is in hot water because of this. Whether is this the final nail in the coffin for him, or do you think he will get any kind of reprimand? I know that Sportsnet has
some strongly worded statements.
Yeah, they put out a tweet, right, and that said they apologize and they don't share the same opinion as him, but
and Ron McLean put out a tweet where he's like, this is bad. I don't agree with this. I didn't say anything while the segment was happening, but
I think that is another sort of underlying issue. It's like we all know Canada is littered with Don Cherries everywhere. But what's more concerning is that there's a lot more Ron McLeans out there that aren't saying anything to the Don Cherries when they're talking.
Yeah.
So, sort of my 2 cents there. But I think Don Cherry's taken up enough time on this. Breaking news. A story we just brought to you 10 minutes ago was about Don Cherry. And this tweeted out by Sportsnet. Sports brings people together. It unites us, not divides us. Following further discussions with Don Cherry, After Saturday night's broadcast, it has been decided it is the right time for him to immediately step down. During the broadcast, he made divisive remarks that do not represent our values or what he stands for. Now, then they go on to say Don is synonymous with hockey and has played an integral role in growing the sport for the last 40 years. I'd like to thank him for his contributions in sports broadcasting in Canada. That was from the president, Bart Yabsley. Anyway, he's the president of Sportsnet, and that was tweeted out. So it looks like this is the straw that broke the camel's back, right? That they just couldn't deal with Don Cherry's
that
anymore, right?
Yeah, I think probably could have gotten away with it 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I guess not anymore.
It doesn't fly anymore, right? People are just more connected now online, and the shitstorms that it creates for these companies are just, this is not worth the Don Cherry is not the face of, he's not hockey, right?
Yeah.
You're always going to have the game, and it still has a lot of appeal. And, honestly, it's time, like him or hate him, he has been part of growing the sport, right? So it's too bad that he,
went out on a low note.
Went out on this, but it's sort of fitting that he did as well. He's been controversial for as long as I can remember. So, maybe it is fitting that he did go out in disgrace, but he has grown the sport. But the sport is going to continue because the sport of hockey is bigger than Don Cherry.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting if Ron McLean still sticks around, what they're going to do with that segment and stuff. But,
yeah. And it is interesting that years ago, not everyone knows this, but yeah, the hockey night in Canada used to be a big segment on our national public broadcaster, the CBC. They sold it to Sportsnet a few years ago, so it looks like Sportsnet.
There was talk at the time that when they sold the hockey night in Canada to get rid of Don Cherry. I think that would have been a good time to start fresh, but they kept him on for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think Sportsnet, they're not willing to have him be an albatross around their neck.
I guess they don't want racist grandpa on their broadcasts anymore, right? So